So, you're one of India's top minds in science or engineering. You're probably thinking, what's next? What's the biggest challenge I can tackle? Well, what if you could work on the absolute cutting edge of technology and help shape the future of the nation? That's exactly what we're talking about today. We're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most prestigious jobs in the country, becoming a scientific officer for the Department of Atomic Energy through BARC.
This whole journey really goes back to the vision of one man, Dr. Homi J. Bhabha. You see, this is so much more than a job. It's about carrying on a legacy, putting atoms to work for the good of the country. And as you're about to see, it's also an incredibly rewarding career.
Just how rewarding are we talking? Well, let's cut right to the chase. If you get posted in a city like Mumbai, your starting salary, your total monthly salary, is going to be right around 1,35,000 rupees. That's your basic pay, all the allowances, the whole package. It's a powerful start to a really powerful career. And believe me, we are just getting warmed up.
So, what's the game plan? How do you actually get there? Well, we've laid out a clear roadmap for you. We'll start with what this career is all about. Then we'll look at the two different ways you can get in. The intense selection process, who's eligible, the key dates you absolutely cannot miss, and finally, what you need to do right now. All right, let's jump in.
First things first, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. This is not your average 9 to 5. Not even close. This is about joining an elite group of scientists and engineers who are solving some of the world's most complex problems. I mean, you could be designing next-gen nuclear reactors or developing brand new accelerator tech. It's a career where your work has a massive, real-world impact.
Once you complete your training, you're appointed as a scientific officer. And listen, this isn't just any old title. It is a Group A post with the Government of India, right inside the prestigious Department of Atomic Energy. What that means is you get immense responsibility and respect from day one.
And the opportunities, they are absolutely huge. You could land at the legendary BARC in Mumbai, or maybe the Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research down in Kolpakkam. Or how about the RRCAT in Indore? The point is, there are so many elite DAU units all over the country, each with its own vital mission. You're going to find the perfect place for your skills.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, I'm in. This sounds amazing. You get the why. Now let's get into the how. There are actually two different ways to join this incredible group, OCS and DGFS. Let's break them down.
First, let's just get these acronyms sorted. OCES stands for the Orientation Course for Engineering Graduates and Science Postgraduates, and DGFS is the DAE Graduate Fellowship Scheme for Engineering Graduates. They might sound a little similar, but trust me, they are two very different paths to the exact same awesome destination.
And this is where you get a really interesting choice. On one hand, you have the OCS path. Think of it as a one-year, super intensive training program at BARC's own schools. On the other hand, there's the DGFS path. This is a 2-year fellowship where you actually go and get your M.Tech at a top IIT, and the DAE covers your fees plus pays you a stipend. Pretty cool, right? Both roads lead to the same place, getting appointed as a scientific officer. So it's really about what fits you best.
All right, now for the part you've all been waiting for. How do you actually get selected? Let's talk about the process itself. It's famous for being tough and for very good reason. They are sifting through a huge pool of talent to find the absolute best.
When you boil it all down, the whole process is really just two major steps. First, you've got to pass the screening. If you make it through that, you move on to the second and most important step, the selection interview. Let's dig into each of these.
So, to get that interview call, you have two shots. You can either take the BARC online screening exam, which happens all across the country, or you can use a valid GATE score from the last 3 years. Now listen up, because here's a pro tip that could change everything. Apply through both channels. You can, and you absolutely should. It seriously boosts your odds of getting into that interview room.
I need you to really hear this next part because it's so important. The online test, your GATE score, your grades in college, all of that is just to get you the interview. The final decision is based solely on how you perform in that one-on-one interview. They're not testing what you've memorized. They want to see how you think, how you solve problems. It is the ultimate test, so you've got to be ready.
Feeling fired up? Ready for the challenge? I love that energy. But hang on a second. Before we get too carried away, let's just do a quick check to make sure you meet the basic eligibility rules.
So the big question is, do you have what it takes? Let's run through the qualifications you'll need to even start this journey.
The good news is they're casting a wide net. A whole bunch of engineering fields are welcome. Mechanical, chemical, computer science, you name it. Same for science postgrads in areas like physics and chemistry. But here's the one hard rule. You need a minimum of 60% aggregate marks in your degree. That's non-negotiable.
All right, let's talk about the age limit. And pay attention here, because the cutoff date is August 1st, 2026. For the general category, the maximum age is 26. For OBC candidates, that goes up to 29 years, and for SC/ST candidates, it's 31 years. So just make sure you know where you stand.
Okay, this next part is super critical. So if you're serious about this, you might want to open up the calendar on your phone. We're talking about the timeline. Missing even one of these deadlines could mean you have to wait a whole other year to apply.
Ready? Here we go. The online application window opens around December 22nd, 2025, and it slams shut about a month later on January 21st, 2026. Then it's crunch time. The online exam is in mid-March. You'll know if you made the interview shortlist by April, and the final list of who got in comes out in June. And then it all kicks off on the last day of July 2026. It's a fast-moving train, so you've got to be on it.
Okay, we've covered the what, the why, and the when. Now for the most important part of all. What do you do right now to get started?
It's actually a pretty simple 4-step process. First step, go to the official website, which is barcosexam.in. Step 2, and please do not skip this, read the information brochure and the FAQs from start to finish. Seriously. Once you know it all, fill out your application online, and then finally, pay the 500 rupee application fee unless you're in a category that's exempt, like women candidates or SC/ST.
And you know what? To make it even easier for you, here's a QR code. Just scan it with your phone and it'll take you straight to the official portal. Everything we've discussed today, it all begins right there. Your future in atomic energy is literally just a scan away. This is your shot to be part of something huge, to build a career that really, truly matters. The only question left is, are you ready to take that leap?